Everybody, happy Wednesday. It's almost Thursday, right? So time flies, right? So what am I doing up? I'm always up at night. I've just always been a night person, right? Somebody told me the prayer warriors are the ones that's up at night, right? And then you got the people that's worrying and panicking, right? The people that is perplexed, right? So I am on today to talk to somebody, right? Um, I may not have all the right words to say. I'm not a preacher. I'm just a person that just cares, right? And I may be going through something, but there's always somebody that is going through something worse, right? So what I came on here to do is give somebody a little push, right? You may need a little push, and that is what I came here to do. So hey, whoever that is. So you know how you ask the question, why me? That's a big one, right? Sometimes you're going through a difficult situation, and you may say, why me, right? Sometimes we question God, and a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't question God, but I don't really agree with that because to me, everybody has their own personal relationship with God, and that's only what I can go by. And I look to the Lord as a father, right? So even your earthly father, right? You still gonna ask your parents questions, right? Because you don't know everything. They've been here longer than you, right? They know things that you don't know. They have experienced things that you haven't even experienced. So that is my personal relationship with God. I'm always asking God why, asking him questions, asking him to lead and guide me, And I hate to be praying and giving God my laundry list, but that's what my heavenly Father is for, right? So yeah, why me? And just as sure as I'm talking to you, there is somebody who is going through a difficult time. And you may ask the question, why me? Why did I have to go through this? Why did I have to experience whatever you're going through, right? It could be a list of things. So y'all, I was so inspired because my coworker, she had shared something with me, right? And it was just so encouraging. I said, wow, I gotta go on and talk to my subscribers or whoever, right? Because I share my videos on different platforms. I'm on Facebook as Tracy, right? Then I'm on TikTok as Church Talk with the T, and I'm on Instagram. So that's a lot of platforms, but I'm trying to keep up, right? But anyway, she was saying we was all, our supervisor wasn't there, so we were just talking. And I'm so blessed because in this group of women, we all are believers, right? Some are black, some are white, and we, are round about the same age, but she was sharing that she was in her study group. She was saying, she said she was reading a devotion, and the question was, can you trust God in your hard times? Or not you, can God trust you in your trial? Right? So I had it backwards. I got a little dyslexia going on. But she was saying that she had a devotion. She said, can God trust you? Thank you so much, Shane. Can God trust you with your tribulation or your trial? And I was like, dang, I was like, usually we talk about trusting God, and it is difficult and it is hard, especially when you can't see the forest from the trees, right? So I just, was just thinking about that. So she went on and she had shared with me this story This lady that went to the ER, right? She was having chest pains, right? It's a long story, but I'm just gonna paraphrase it, right? So this lady was having chest pain, so she went to the ER, right? And they were saying it was three people, and she was saying they were saying thank God that you came when you did, right? And how many times are we dismissive about red flags that may be going on in our life that says something is wrong? And what do? We ignore the signs, right? We ignore the bells and the whistles, right? Until we start feeling some type of boom, and that is where we start to run for help, right? So this lady went to the ER, chest pains, and that's just like, woo. But it happens, right? And one of my coworkers was saying, she was saying that she was talking, taking care of her mother, right? And she was saying that all of a sudden her foot started hurting. And she was, so, you know, I'm a woman of a certain age, right? So if your feet start hurting, you everything is canceled. Christmas is canceled because your feet take you everywhere you go. And like I said, so sometimes those bells and whistles may be going on in life, right? So back to the story. She was saying in her devotion, the lady had went to the ER, and she was a woman of faith, and she was just talking. The two ladies was talking to her and telling her, working on her. It was three, and the one lady wasn't seeing her, so she said automatically, she was like, like, why, maybe this lady is not a believer, or whatever, right? But the lady wasn't saying nothing, and the other ladies was talking and working on her, right? So then, shortly after, after they did all their things, the lady came back, right? So she was talking to the lady that had the chest pains, and she said, I was listening to what you said. So a lot of times we, can judge people. People can be quiet, but sometimes people could just be listening, right? Like, especially like at church or something, or people can be somewhere and they're not saying the word, they're not participating, but that doesn't mean that they don't hear you, right? That doesn't mean that they're not pondering on something. They might be going through something. Silence, it doesn't always mean what you think it means, right? It's not always dismissive. So she came and she was saying her husband was having all these health problems, right? And for some reason or another, he lost his faith. So, sometimes we can get to a situation where we, shaking our fist to God and saying, why me? Right? Was a man of faith, but this time in his life, he was mad with God. So he decided not to follow none of the doctor's directives. She couldn't get him to move. She couldn't get him to go to the doctor or nothing, right? But, and it goes to the question to you and I, can God trust you in your suffering? Can God trust you to trust him? Right? If that makes sense. Can God trust you when there are bumps and unforeseen circumstances, or sometimes when you get to the point where you're saying, why me? Can God trust you in those times? And for me, it was just like, woo. It just, like something hit you and you start thinking back to like, wow, did I rise to the occasion in the most difficult times in my life? Woo! Like, y'all, I may be getting a little emotional, but that's all right. Let's go down this road together, because and there will be times in your life where you will say, why me? And you may even be going through something like that, a situation that you just didn't see yourself going through. But that's the question. Can God trust you in your sufferings, in your pain, in your confusion? in the times when you don't know what to do. All right. So when she was talking, I was just like doing a lot of self-reflection, right? A lot of times I may have did things being presumptuous, right? Because I'm tired of what I, am going through. So a lot of times they say when you are going through a trial, I'm talking about a brick wall, hard trial. They say the first thing that you should do, don't make no decisions. I was like, well, I failed that one. 3 years of divorce and everything like that. And I try to live my life with regrets, but sometimes our patience wears thin, right? So just in going forward, can God trust you to continue to lean on him? Right? You may not have all the answers. You may not have all the answers to this puzzle that you're going through, but it's okay. Right? It's okay because you got to weather the storm. And I found out excuse me. Sometimes, let me take a drink of water. Sometimes, y'all, as you gain more maturity in life, in your faith, and I'm not talking about church, I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about you and God one-on-one. One-on-one. I'm not talking about your pastor. I'm not talking about none of that. I'm talking about your journey, and we all have one. So what are you going to do, right? Can God trust you? And I'm thinking about when Peter walked on the water. So you have all these imperfect people, right? This in this book. All these imperfect people, all these people that some of them didn't even want to do what God wanted them to do, but God got them to a certain point that, look, you're going to have to do what I'm asking you to do. You're going to have to do what I'm calling you to do. You're going to have to do it because it's a greater good at the end of what you're going through, right? But like I said, sometimes we can't see past that. We can't see past the brick wall, right? All we see is our problem, right? And I thought about, it's a scripture in John 1. It said, let not your heart be troubled. If you believe in God, believe also in me. And this was Jesus when he was about to go to endure the cross. Now, a lot of people may say, oh, he didn't happily go to the cross, right? He didn't want to do it. And that's how life is. We don't want to go through our hard trials and tribulations because nobody likes to feel pain, right? Nobody likes to go through and experience pain. So my question to you and I, can God trust you with what you're going through? Can you still remain faithful? Can you still regain the or gain the or hold on to the faith that you have? Like, even though I don't know and I don't see, I know that God is going to make way. Your faith, right? Your very faith. And let me tell you something about faith. It's going to be tested, right? Your faith is going to be tested, right? Your faith is going to be tested. If you say that out of all the things that you went through, your faith is going to be something that like I said, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're saying, why me? And God is saying, why not you? What if God chose you to go through this? So at the end of what you're going through, you can tell somebody how I made it, right? How I got over it, how I'm still standing right here in my right mind, okay? Because sometimes you gotta look back. You gotta look back and see where you came from. Some of us didn't make it. Some of us almost didn't make it. Some of us came out of the trenches, right? Some of us, we didn't have the things that other people have, but at some point, right? At some point, we went through. Hey, Sean, thanks for joining. At some at some point, God got us through. He got us through that hard thing. That and you don't know how, but all you know is you're standing here only by the grace of God, right? So I want you to be encouraged today. I want you to be inspired, right? Sometimes God is saying, "Can I trust you? Can I trust you that you will go through, and then you'll go back and tell somebody that cried just like you, somebody who may have went through the same thing, and you granted you can't tell everybody, but it may be a specific person that God helped you to reach. It may be your own child, right? I always tell my I got nieces and nephews, and sometimes, you have to parent or be a example even as an adult, because you have 22, 20, 18. They've never been 18. They've just starting to experience adult problems, all right, adult issues. And we all know that life be life, and y'all, life be life, but at some point, you have to, regather your strength to trust God, to say, okay, I don't have anything but my faith, and I'm holding on to the promises of God. I'm holding on to what God showed me, what He revealed to me. And sometimes, like I said, it's rocky, it's shaky, but nevertheless, can God trust you? Can God trust you in this season of your life? Right? And like I said, when she hit me with that, my coworker, when she hit me with that, I was like I said, I went back on this journey, and I was like, okay, I gotta toughen up. I gotta toughen up. I gotta gather myself. Okay, I got this, right? So that's what I'm encouraging you to do today. You got this. You know what I'm saying? Remain firm. Stand flat-footed on what you know, what you have seen. If you've seen God move in a way, if He did it before, He could do it again. He could do it again, my friend. Giving up is not an option today. It's not an option. You're going to have to find something else to do with your time, because giving up is not a option for you. You're going to have to trust God, right? I was reading, I'm not a big reader, right? But I do like spot read. And I was reading this passage. It's in a book. It's called Bedside Blessings. And it says, stop permitting strong tendencies, selfishness, conceit to control you. Let nothing, either of them, suggest win a hearing. Replace them with a humility of mind. But how? By regarding others as more important than yourself. Look for ways to support, encourage, build up, stimulate the other person. And that requires an attitude that will rather give than receive. And a lot of times we go through things, and sometimes we got to focus on other things besides ourselves. Sometimes we're so engulfed in our problems and our issues, but a lot of times we got to look past that and focus on other people. I guarantee you, whatever you're going through, somebody is going through worse. Whatever, and that's a hard pill to swallow. But let me tell you, a lot of people are not leaving this earth old, right? So age, it don't have anything to do with age. It has anything to do. We all are allowed here for a certain amount of time. So what are you doing with that time? Are you willing to trust God in your trial? Are you willing to trust God in this current situation? Can God trust you? Right? Can God trust you to, not to give up and curse when something is not going how you want it to go, right? It's a greater good. It's a greater purpose for your life. So I love you. I wish I could live stream a little bit more, but I'm working and everything. But God was like, no excuse. Sometimes you got to show up because you never know who needed to hear this. So I'm so happy that you bypass this channel, right? Unchurched talk with the T, right? It's not church, right? But it's that tea, that spiritual tea. That's something that's going to push you, that's going to give you something to just lift you up so you can go a little bit farther. So I love you. I hope you have an amazing, night and a better week. And I always say, I pray that the sun is shining in your life. I pray that you get the things that you've been praying for, right? That you've been asking for. But sometimes God wants us to have patience, right? Sometimes we gotta wait. Sometimes we gotta weather the storm. And nobody likes to go through hard things and problems. But guess what? We are all are a testament of something that we went through, right? Some hard thing. But I'm telling you, out of this trial, out of this problem, this tribulation that you're going through, you're going to see God in a way that you have never, I said never, seen him before, right? Can God trust you? Okay? So thank you for joining. Hey Shane, hey Sean, whoever that is, y'all. I love y'all. If there's no question, if there's no anything that you want to say, I'm going to leave y'all right here, and I'll see y'all next time. Right? My name is Tracy, and this is my channel, Unchurched Talk with the T. Y'all like and subscribe. Share this video. You may want to give it to somebody who is having a difficult time. Like, share, donate if you can. If not, thank you for just coming across my channel. And guess what, y'all? I will see y'all next time to Unchurched Talk with the T. You be blessed. Bye.